They want us to think that we're an insignificant speck of dust, but let me tell you, we are so much more than dust in the wind.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim they worship.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down.
I actually got up at 6:30 this morning, started watching a movie, and I passed out. Like I was watching Megamind cartoon. Have you guys seen that? Or
No, I haven't.
no,
No.
It's funny as I know it's a children's cartoon, but I think it's.
Well, I got kids too, so I'm sure one of my kids has seen it. I have to ask him about that.
It's a fantastic movie. You know, I think it's some of these shows are sort of designed or skewed for adults and children, aren't they?
Yeah,
Where
right.
Oh,
you'll find yourself, I've got kids as well, but watching cartoons, you'll find yourself laughing and they're not laughing. It's like, because it's over their head. It's
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They're
No,
not
they
getting
do
it.
stick some adult themed. Yeah, there are adult themed jokes
Exactly,
in there
yeah.
for sure.
But there was nothing better than the old school cartoons, I reckon. So occasionally they pop up on Twitter or wherever, and you'll see Bugs Bunny or Roadrunner. They were brilliant. It was like so different to what they're showing kids now with SpongeBob SquarePants and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was a time when cartoons they had subtle meaning behind them, but the whole premise was just to make you laugh and be ridiculous. Now it's like
absolutely.
they're like politically driven. There's like undertones and all that, and man, there's the grooming. Let's not even go there.
I know, yeah. And even if you watch shows like Big Bang Theory, that show, which I used to enjoy that. It was one of my favorites. I still do like it, I must admit, because they drop a lot of truth bombs in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you watch their set and the colors they use, it's very LGBT. It's a rainbow color.
Yeah.
Sheldon will be dressed purple, the other one yellow, the other one blue, the other one red, the other one whatever, green. And is that by accident? I don't think so, because if you start watching, the more that show evolved, you see them really getting political, as you said. They start throwing in, or you'll see, LGBTQ themes thrown in. Even a show like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't want to sound like a movie buff now, but I like that show too. But the longer the season went, and it almost appears that when Obama got voted in, that these shows changed. I know that sounds like a conspiracy, didn't it? Everything changed.
Everything did. Yeah, it was very heavily politically influenced. A lot of the narratives behind these shows were. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I feel like back in the day, it started by they would just put a little bit of adult humor in there, just kind of as a joke and more as an entertainment, and now it's evolved to at the point where it's blatantly in your face that they're trying to push an agenda by putting it in there.
Definitely, yeah. And it seems to be global, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm 53, and I remember, when I was younger, we didn't use that word global. I still remember when it kicked in, like probably the 80s. They started throwing in, businesses are global, and hey, I'm going to go global with this song or whatever, people were trying to do at that time. But global wasn't a big word in my, in my vocabulary when I was younger. It seemed to now every time you hear a word, we watch a movie, it's in, you're going to see globe and you're going to hear the word global as well. And I try not to watch movies, but you got to, I hear a lot of people go, I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch news. I don't watch shit like that. I pick what I
Right.
choose. But sometimes you got to switch off, and I think that's good for the mind, especially when we're under attack as we are so often. You've just got to go, no, I'm going to switch off, turn off,
Right.
switch off Twitter. You walk away from the computer
Yeah.
or whatever, and just
But dude,
watch.
how hard is it to not notice everything
Oh,
now?
it's so hard, try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
To the
know.
point when like it ruins movies sometimes for me.
It
I'm
does,
like,
doesn't it?
oh
Like,
my god.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
I
I
can't
watch
see past it. I'm looking at my wife like, oh, seriously.
100%. I'm
Oh,
doing the
jeez.
same, man. I walk in and my wife's watching a movie, and I'm going like, oh, look at that, and
Yeah.
why are they doing
Look
that?
at the
It's
pedo
just
spirals. They're everywhere.
they're everywhere.
Oh, and
Exactly.
it's like freaking
Yeah.
Moana.
So
You know what I
if you
mean?
watch-
Like,
before we get too
yeah,
far in,
yeah.
I just want everyone to know this is Billy Zig, the author of The Elusive Curve, and tell everyone where to find you real quick. And I want to get into your book, man.
that's
There's
it,
so
yeah.
much to
Yeah,
cover
that'd
in
be
it.
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for the intro. And you can find me on Twitter, Billy Zig, Facebook, YouTube. Just search me.
Billy
Some
Zigarus.
kind of shadow band. Zigoris is my full
Yeah.
name. Billy Zigoris is my full name.
Yeah.
My pen title is Billy Zig. This is the book here, which can be found, Amazon, my website, elusivecurve.com.
here.
Oh, awesome, man.
I got it.
And a lot of the big online bookstores stock the book as well. But I'd like to, start getting it into bookstores, and I probably should have focused on that during the last couple of years. But it was a pretty fucking big shit show, wasn't it? Excuse the French,
Oh, yeah.
because how do you focus? I actually published my book September 2019, which was 3 months
Oh,
before
wow.
before
Yeah.
it hit. So not that I lost focus. It was like, hey, there's more important things to talk about and promote the book, and we've got literally a lot of the things that I spoke about in the book. The powers that be, and I think I even spoke about worldwide protests. Could you imagine
Yes.
the worldwide protests that would occur if people all found out that they lied to us, right? And you could see that. Could you imagine what would happen what would happen? What do you reckon would happen when we reach that tipping point? What's going to happen?
It depends
There's
how
gonna be a
long
lot
it
of
takes. It depends if it's a slow process. If it's an all at once thing, like if it was like it is in your book, where someone really got footage of an outer land and it was broadcast on the news and it was out there, I think it would be mass hysteria. But if it's a slow drip, it might be a little different. I'm not sure, but
You're right. Yeah. Imagine if it was just, breaking news.
What if it was like
scientists all now confirm the world.
yeah, like the dream in your book where
Yeah,
the reporters
exactly.
were there at the car and all that, blah blah blah. Like people would
Yeah.
go crazy. It would be insane. But
It would, they would, wouldn't they? And I wonder whether it should. Look, it's been 10 years. I've been, pursuing this topic for 10 years now, with the original intent, just like everyone else, to debunk this ridiculous notion that the Earth is flat. Scientists have proven it's a globe for years. The Greeks proved it. All of the narrative that you see, even the globe Earth, is that they think we were in another world or something and didn't hear what they heard at school or the
Yeah.
news and all that. We know what you're talking about, probably a little bit better than you do, because
yeah.
we've examined it for so long, and we've done it with a critical mind as well. We're skeptical and that's how you should approach a topic, with skepti, with the Greek word skepti, with thought. And that's what someone skeptical is. But we've been taught that, don't be skeptical. Like, what do you mean? Don't think,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to
hope
get
so.
there
Oh,
very
yeah,
soon, because
dude.
within the last 10 years, it's probably what I was going to say, is that there's been a massive
Ramped
growth in this,
Ramped up.
like hockey
Dude,
stick
even in the
almost,
last
right?
3 years, and I think every one of us can agree to that because we've all been
yeah.
doing this for quite a while. This
Yeah.
last 3 years, it's almost like the pandemic helped it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it gave us everybody time to sit down at home and just dive in, and they were just getting. The truthers were like,
Absolutely.
"Oh yeah, it's on now," and just start bombarding the internet with all this stuff, and people are just getting
Yeah.
slammed with it.
It was like an
TikTok,
amplifier.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Well,
Even
I
a
think
TikTok,
that everyone
like-
everyone was trying to look into, like, okay, so what really is this COVID thing and what's behind it, and what everyone just had a hunger for, like, what's going on? Are we all going to die, or what's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, it kind of we ran into some other things along the way. Some of us already knew about them to begin with, but then a lot of the other people who weren't privy to this knowledge, now they're kind of running into it too, just by accident. And a lot of them picked
Well,
up
yeah.
on it. So whether that be by design or what,
Yeah, yeah.
that's all up for speculation. But
isn't it? Yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny. Funny
It's
it
funny,
happened
isn't
like
it?
that.
I often think of the same. Was it done? Was that? I don't know. Is this a time of an awakening, a great awakening? The age of Aquarius. So you're seeing that model where we're moving, from one constellation to another, and that was the age of Aquarius. Was this awakening? That's what it was all about. And even the book of Revelation in the Bible, revelation in Greek means an awakening. It doesn't mean an apocalypse. Well, actually,
Right.
apocalypse actually means an awakening, a lifting of the veil.
Yep.
It is the exact words, right? But
Yeah, you're right. It's
Hollywood,
not devastation. You're right.
it's not. And isn't it funny that even during that movie, you remember that where they were saying that, what was it, the end of the world, 2012, that, the Mayan calendar? Well, they painted a lot of the Hollywood movies, again, going back to that it was a destructive time. Everything was, end of world. But maybe we're at that time. Maybe because our calendar is wrong, right? Because we're using the wrong calendar system with 31 days of this month and 30 days in that. And, as a kid, you're going like, what? I've got to work out how many days are in each month. But every week is 7 days, and there's 4 weeks in a month. So technically there are 28 days in every month. It should be like that.
Oh yeah.
But because of this calendar change that they did from the Gregorian to the Julian, is that right? Or was it Julian to Gregorian? That our times are out of whack. You've got countries like China. You look up what year is it in China, and they think it's 4,000, 6,000 years old.
I think the reason they switch up the calendar, and by the way, Death dropped out. If he comes back in, I'll let him back in. I don't know if he had internet issues or what.
Yeah, I noticed that was.
So I think they do all of that, daylight savings, all of that to throw us off our natural rhythm, because we would start to notice that, hey, it's always the same on this day of the month. The moon is always the same at this day. Everything's the same at this day. This thing happens this day every year on this exact date. And they don't want that. They don't want us realizing that it's a perfect clock. It's perfect. And if we notice that, they're done. So it's just like they
had to
to
mimic
screw
it from
up.
something.
Yeah.
They had to mimic it from something. They didn't just come up with like, oh, I think I'm going to call this a watch, and there's going to be some hands that go around, and then, oh, well, they did it from the sundial. Well,
I know. It's like, watch this instead
was
of the
Earth
sky.
spinning back then, or was the sun moving around us?
That's why we called it a watch.
They've reversed.
Right.
That's true. Watch this, and everything is so. All their words are, are poignant because they mean something. They don't just make up this sound for nothing, like the word year. The word year. And if you think of the word, even the Mayans, they call the earth year, right? Is that the same? Like in Greek, we call it year, and that's where the word geology comes from. So it sounds very similar to year, right? So they've got this wording that they've, bastardized so many languages, or, Latin and Greek, and, try and work that out. And then they stop teaching Latin. They stop teaching they don't teach Greek at school, so you're not going to connect that together. They'll go and teach you a language that you'll never, ever use in your life, right?
Yeah.
Well, why? Why not teach us and, why not teach both models, both the, the geocentric.
You know why. You know why.
We know why. Because it would make more, it'd make far more sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Globers need to do, and I don't like fighting with Globers, but you sort of, they fire you up. So you end up in this heated debate, and I try not to. I try to be calm and, I read comments. It's like, not just freaking ignore it.
It's because they're disingenuous. They're not honest at all.
Right.
They can't even admit that, like, hey, yes, this thing does look a little suspicious. Like, dark matter looks a little weird that they had to create this thing to make their gravity work. Just admit that, and we can go from there together. But they won't. They won't admit it. No, it's perfect. It's perfect. It works perfectly every time.
I had one of them, and he reached out to me and he said, do you have this particular meme? So I started entering into a chat with this guy, and I said, look, by the way, do you have a photo of a curve? You got any proof of curvature anywhere? He sends me the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, and that's proof there. And we're debating that. And I said, well, and then he goes to okay, cool. Do you have another one? He showed another one. It was that lake. I think it's over the Salt Lake somewhere in America where they've given a curvature over the x-axis again, nothing over over the z-axis, nothing over the x-axis.
Yeah.
And it's okay. At what height can I see this curve? Because Neil says you don't see it at 120, and you're telling me I just got to go a little bit up, and I can see this like these bridges, and he just wouldn't reply. His only thing that he did, his rebuttal to me was taking all my comments that I read and that I wrote, and now he's made a video on it. Like,
Are you serious?
Debunking Billy's. Yeah, I've been.
Oh, he loves you.
I debunked an author.
You've probably seen him, Ole de Hassler. Like, as soon as I even see these names, Ole de Hassler, the Hassler. It's like, what? They're not even original with their name. They're not even original with their approach. And as you said before, they're disingenuous. And I've begun not no special talent, but I could see through it. I could see through the ones that are asking genuine questions.
Yeah, immediately. Even when they try to cloak it, you can immediately tell.
Absolutely. And the problem is when anyone comes in with a genuine question, do these guys then pound them? Like, leave the guy alone. He's just asking the question, trying to piece together why eclipses work or this and that. He didn't say anything about he's a flat earther, and you are attacking him as well. So now what that does to him, he's going to go, whoa, man, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to, talk about this
I'm not
with my
even
family.
Look at the
approach. So they're doing this intentionally. It's like not for, and just imagine living your life doing that all day.
We were talking, I
love doing what I do. So I do this with a passion. I'm trying to share. Like, if I find something out about lightning or whatever topic it is, I find it interesting. There are 8 million lightning strikes on Earth every day, they say. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And who verified that? Who's freaking counting them anyway, right? Yeah, every day there's that many, and not 6 that day, not 10 that day. It's like 8 million.
Dude,
it could be.
Rufus kind of has
maybe it's charging the Earth somehow. That's all I wrote. And people are like, maybe, right?
Where's your proof?
Have
Where's
you seen the sprites? Rufus is big on these sprites. He's been trying to get traction on this for a long time. And as soon as you type sprites in a post, it gets no traction. It's like they don't want you to know that.
And so that's what I think, going back to what you were saying, Billy, I feel like it's like some sort of energy being injected into the system to kind of like balance things out, maybe. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's really hard for us to figure out what they are, but
it's hard, isn't it?
It seems like there's a purpose for it, though.
Have you seen the elves as well? So there's sprites, elves, and I feel I've got a folder here with, let me go to my meme folder.
So many folders. Sprites,
elves, I know.
It's the life of a truther. So many folders.
Collect them over time, probably for like 10 years, and you've got to do it. It's memes are I know they go, oh, you're sharing memes. Yeah, well, you read it. And now you're arguing with me about the content of that meme. Why are you so triggered about it? Why not reply to that meme? Yeah.
Say, this is why it's not true. They can't do that.
They can't do it, can they?
No.
It might be in this folder.
Yeah, and going back to that Lake Pontchartrain thing, this is the kind of logic that goes through their heads, is that they think that they can see the Earth curving that much over that short of amount of distance. Yet you never see any other evidence beyond that, like the buildings leaning away or being able to see any curve whatsoever once you go higher in elevation.
And
they
Ted
just can't admit that it doesn't make sense.
Insanity.
That is disingenuous. They know damn well.
Isn't it? Yeah. Just come up with a model. Just come up with something like they say, oh, where's your model? Where's yours? Where's your consistency in your model, right? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson says you wouldn't see it at 120,000 feet. You're saying you can see it at like 50 feet or 100 feet. I can't see it when I fly. I can't see it at the top of a mountain. And when I drive across Melbourne, like, the flat plains of Melbourne, you can see mountains 200-300 kilometers or 200 miles away, right? And I'm 700 meters from the beach where I live. I don't know if you've seen some of my footage, but I've been going to the beach with my Nikon P900 for years. And I've seen selennial eclipses there, and there's a good viewing platform there. And on that night when the eclipse was occurring, there were astrologers there with, or astronomers there, I should say, with massive friggin' telescopes.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have my P900 by that stage, but there was a lady there with the P900, and she wasn't even a flat earther, but she just bought this camera, and she loved taking long distance footage. And it was about 4 or 5 in the morning, and we could literally see the sun and the moon up at the same time, but they were supposed to be eclipsing each other. So I asked the guy, I said, why? And I knew why, because I've been researching this topic for quite a while. And I said to him, why is the sun and the moon up at the same time, but the earth is supposed to be eclipsing it? Yeah. And then everyone turned around. There must have been 15 people there. They all turned around to listen to what this discussion between us, because everyone was like, okay, that sort of what he's asking made sense. And he went, I don't know. And they all turned to each other, these 3 guys. They all turned, we don't know. I don't know. And I said, it's a selenium eclipse. And I started explaining it to them. And I didn't mention anything about flat earth, but within 5 minutes, man, they packed up their gear and left. I don't know why.
They're like, I'm done.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They're like, I'm done. Like, they took their footage or whatever. They just, maybe that was just a coincidence that they left, but it was really strange. And then I started chatting with that lady and her friend, because most, like it sort of cleared up after 15, 20 minutes. And then I started talking about flat earth. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And that's the difference between if you're out talking to real people compared to the online guys, right? These trolls that are like, because I've had a few people get triggered on me. I've, been in a few like feisty situations, but very rare. And I've
like face to face.
I wear flat earth t-shirts.
You've been at a few family holiday parties after a couple of cocktails, and
there was a local pub up here, and the security guard was a real asshole, I must admit. And every time I'd walk in, the first thing he'd say, "Oh, the flat earther," and there'd be freaking like people in there doing drinking. Friday night, "Oh, the flat earther's here," and then straight away that would trigger shit. So I had physical altercations. I got into a couple of punch-ups there, actually.
Record stops, the whole night.
Stupid. They just got so triggered. And one of them was a guy that walked in and he had a Bible in his pocket, like one of those little pocket Bibles. And I thought, okay, cool. Maybe I can chat to this guy because
you're like, let's start with Genesis.
Yeah, I actually did, and he got he was the guy that ended up jumping. He got kicked out. He jumped this massive wall, came back in just to fucking go me. Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah, man. Wow. Got him down, like.
Triggered for Jesus, huh?
100%. I wonder if he's a flat earther now and he's like, shit, what happened to that? Yeah, because I was once a globe earther too, and I, 7 months later, look, I knew, like we all do, we see, inconsistencies in the model straight away. But for me to actually go, yep, I am a flat earther now. It took me quite a few months because I wanted to sort of, maybe I was scared to come out.
A few months, dude. It took me years. It took me years to come out publicly, actually, for sure.
Because I wanted to originally write a book to debunk flat Earth. So I wanted to write a book to prove the model, where things where you could go out and fit. Yeah, and that's because I've been writing for years, not books but business plans and like that sort of shit. And that's gone. I don't even want to do that anymore. It's like no time for that. It's not time to expose the lies and it's probably about expose the lies is a negative way to put it. What about it's time to awaken the people's eyes?
Unify the world.
Like, don't worry about the trolls. Like they'll eventually. How can they do this for so long? Fight the flat. What's this guy doing, man?
No, we get into it with him all the time. I love him.
I've been nice to that guy though, because apparently after the COVID thing, he probably took the jabberoo and he got a heart problem or something. So I wrote to him and said, man, when I heard about that, I was like, come on, man, we're still humans.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to go, fucking hope you don't. So I wrote to him, went, man, are you all right? Hope things are well. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks for reaching out. And we had a bit of I think he asked me to, have a debate. I said, no, I don't do that. I don't want to debate you. What's the point?
Yeah.
I'm just going to hear the same things. I watched your debates. You just regurgitate the same shit. You talk about spherical excess. Did you hear the one he just did that about that?
Yes.
Because that's a MacToon trick. I was on the MacToon show like just after I published my book. He, tried to play the nice guy and come on my show. And then, then after I did that, it was cool. And then there was another one. I said, okay, let's do another. Well, he wanted to do another show. I said, turn off your super chats and I'll do a show with you. And he got triggered over that because he doesn't want to do a show with no money.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing that?
Yeah,
That's what they're all about. Yeah.
they
And then
got
they
that
come
one
with
in
me.
you.
Craig too.
And they call me
FTFE, same shit.
Yeah. My channel's not even
that.
monetized.
And they need
My
those
YouTube-
lifelines. They got
Yeah.
the guys in there. Yeah, they're guys in there giving them answers and everything like that.
Oh,
you
the
know?
whole
Don't they?
time he's
Oh, yeah.
on his computer Googling, getting answers from people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he thinks no one can see what he's doing as well. Like it's like, you know, he's master this thing that no, I'm not typing right now, you know. But anyway, the spherical excess thing, and this is a good rebuttal. Like, have you seen that article where 10 of the most flattest places on Earth? Yeah, you've probably seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Kansas,
Yep.
what they say,
Kansas,
as flat as a pancake. Australia,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Show me that in your spherical excess in your table sheet of information. Those guys who measured, you said the spherical excess of the Earth. What happened when they got to those points? Did they go nil spherical excess, just perfect triangulation based on Pythagorean theory?
Yeah.
Or did it have the spherical excess? I want to see that. But they never show you that. They go, hey, look, proof of that is because the spherical excess here, but at this flat spot on Earth, there's I should have done flat spot with that. Not on Earth, but on that flat spot on Earth, is there nil spherical excess?
It's just so big, Billy.
Yeah.
You can't tell on like a local
I know.
level like
You
that.
just can't tell.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
And these
paper towel roll.
These guys, yeah, and these guys, exactly, yeah, you know, it's curving this way. And these guys that did the spherical excess experiment, what sort of equipment did they have? 100 years. I want to see it. Was there any? Really? 100?
Well,
and that's it.
they
Look at this,
destroyed
we've got
that
this for 100
technology, Billy.
It's a painful
We
process.
didn't
Yeah,
need it anymore.
it's a painful
We proved
process
our
to
point.
pull up the paperwork for that.
Don't
so.
need it, man. Yeah,
Sorry,
for sure.
man.
I know.
I don't want to get
really
too
need it
far
anymore.
away from flat Earth, but I want to ask you something because you're in Australia. What's up with the dingo fences, bro? Is that like a real
They're
thing?
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. And they go for thousands of miles. And that was a good point because when I first heard of flat Earth and that it's a sphere, there was a guy that wanted to do a experiment, force the line experiment. It might have been Brian Mullins.
Brian Mullins, yep.
Yeah.
Force the line. That's
Yeah.
him for sure.
That got me to thinking about the rabbit-proof fence and the dingo fence in Australia. And I started wondering how long that is. And it goes for fucking miles. And wouldn't you at some point, I don't know if you would, like it's a week, you know, would you have to account for curvature? But I think everything does. Have you seen some of the roads in outback Australia, man? They're like go for miles and miles, just straight road for 200-300 miles with no curvature. I've met a train driver who does the outback, the trains, delivering minerals from, you know, about 300 kilometers out of, where was it? Port Augusta, which is a big mining, smeltering town or something like that. And he is a train driver, like hundreds of tons of load on the back of his train. He's an engineer, not a driver. These guys are engineers. They're like some of the smartest guys you meet because they've got to know everything about this train, repairing it, angles, gradients, you know, turning, everything. Think about what they're thinking. It's not like driving a car. Okay, you actually thinking a lot of things too. But he said when I met him, and I didn't bring up flat Earth, I said, do you know when you're going up a gradient or over a curve? And then I think after about 20 minutes, I mentioned flat Earth, and he goes, never thought of that before. But you know what? It's so flat out there, and you can't help but think that, you know, once the mind, and especially if you say to people in Australia, are you really living upside down on a ball that's spinning around? And
That should end it right there.
It should end it right there. It should end it right there. Okay,
Like
fair
freak
enough. I'm
people
at the
out.
top of the ball, and that makes it a bit easier because I might be standing. But really, are you really doing that? And when you ask a question like that, rather than going, the Earth is flat, you know, just let them think. Use the synthetic process of inquiry where they will go, let me think about, you know, shit, I never thought of that
And that just goes
before.
to show the deep programming because of their answer. You know, well,
Gravity.
Yeah, well,
Well,
that
with
too,
most
but
people.
Answer
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
there's no upside down on the sphere. You know, down is relative and all. They just start doing these dances and these gymnastics
Did you see the
Right,
post I
all over it.
made on
And
that
they assume
subject
we don't
last
know
week?
that.
I
So,
was like,
yeah.
if there's no up in space, why do we never see photos of the Earth like this? And I just rotated the Earth 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I never thought of that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
and
you're
then the
ridiculous.
consistent trolls come in and with their up and down theory,
Yeah, I
you know,
know.
like, oh,
North
Oh,
is the
yeah.
Really?
North is the steady that everyone knows, so that's the reason it's referenced that way. Like,
That was the best one out of all of them for sure.
come on.
and so where's and even a magnetic. So then you'll show them a magnetic one. Oh, sorry, the ball with the poles north and well, north is there. You've got a north now, don't you?
Yeah.
You actually
When
do
it's
have a
convenient
north
for
on the
them.
model. Where's your
Yeah.
north? Your north should be in the center of the ball, not at the top of the ball
Yeah,
here. And how does a
exactly.
compass work? Where am I pointing my compass? Through
I know it
the
should go through the
actual-
bottom. Exactly.
There? Yeah.
I
And
just want
that's
you to
where
know
I had,
because you're in Australia, when we clip for this, when we promote it, we're gonna turn your picture upside down. I just want you to know that ahead of time.
you know, I watch this, I'm gonna have a drink and it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
upside down, you know, like
It's gonna be awesome.
far out.
Oh,
So
and
what-
while we have you on here, could you just confirm it for the Globe believers? I'll G-read it, but you know, why did they call it the Down Under? Can we just get that?
Good
Is that
question. And why aren't any of the other supposed countries that are down under, South Argentina and
Yeah.
like, let me look at other why are they
Right.
called down under and we're just the down under?
Man.
Weird,
yeah,
isn't it?
I didn't know
Yeah.
if that but would
When
it
did
be
that come up? Probably from that song Down Under, Men in Black. Do you remember that?
That's in
That was
your
like a
that's in
brilliant-
your book too. I come
Or
when you
no,
went,
it
when
is,
you
yeah,
went into
right?
Yeah.
when you went into the camera shop to buy the two cameras.
camera
I
shop.
come from the land
Good
down
on you, Teddy,
under.
man.
Yeah.
Well done, yeah. And that, like, I tell you what, writing that book was so freaking hard.
Dude,
because-
I was gonna ask you,
Number
what
one-
made you decide? Like, I've thought about it before because before this, I was in a touring band, lived a crazy different life than everything and all this. And I've thought about like, my mom was always like, "You should write a book. You've done so much." And I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, where do you even start to write a book?
Good question. It's almost like that song, Sound of Music. Start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Just start. Just write something, and you might change the start. Funny enough, with my opening, when I went, what do you mean the Earth is flat? Have you lost your freaking mind, Max? That was one of the first things I wrote, and I thought, I questioned whether I should start it so feisty, but maybe you should. Yeah, just start like that. Just start about, just start writing. Yeah.
I will say it
It'll come
rang
together.
that opening scene in the diner when it was Sam, right? Your friend. And I want to ask you later how much of this actually with Zoe and all that, how much actually relates to your real life. But like,
It is real. Yeah.
that
Sam is actually a
scene-
real my best friend.
oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
there it is.
Because that
Okay, it makes a
scene
lot more
in the
sense now.
diner was 100% a different atmosphere, but 100% the same conversation that Bill and I had when I found Flat Earth
Fair dinkum.
and came to him.
That's what we had.
Yeah.
That's what we had. Friends of we've met him in 2004, so 20 years now.
Yeah.
And we had covered nearly every conspiracy theory. 9/11, the straw man, birth certificate,
Yeah.
deep into really deep conspiracy theories. Like everyone, UFOs, which now I think are obviously that's bullshit. And
Yeah.
especially when you see 5-second clip, oh, there's proof.
Yeah.
But I bought that at one point. But anyway, going through things, and that was the conversation with him as well.
Yeah.
When I told him, it was like, what have you? No, that's going too far. Have you lost your freaking mind?
That's what it was. That's
And-
what it was.
Yeah, and we all do that. We all go through a very similar process when we first tell someone that, and we still are, aren't we?
There are still
Mhm.
stages of grief. Yeah, there for sure.
So I wonder whether, I could have started, hey, Sam, have you ever thought about whether you're really standing upside down, spinning on a ball at 1,037 miles per hour, whilst going around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, whilst the sun is, you could do that, couldn't you? And I've actually done that with people. How fast or another way I'll do it with, introduce this topic is I'll just twist it a bit and go, people go, oh, what have you been doing tonight? Oh, I've been arguing with these bloody flat earthers. And they go, what? Oh, yeah, I've seen them. All right.
good.
Okay, yeah, because they reckon we're not spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Like, as if, and then these people go, what, 1,000 miles an hour? Yeah, 1,666 kilometers per hour at the equator, which is what it is, 16666 at the equator in kilometers. And they go, and then you tell them the rest, and then so approach it that way. Don't.
That's smart.
I tell them the Earth. Just say, "Well, I've been debating these people," and then
these idiots.
So and then they usually say, "So where are you after 10, 15? So where are you on the matter? What do you reckon?" I go, "You know what? I'm sitting on the fence. But I tell you what, 1 foot is over towards the flat Earth side." And they look at me and go, "Really?" I go, yeah. Well, I've been, I'm trying to debate it. I can't find curvature. There's no proof of spin anywhere. There's no experiments to prove. And then they sort of like, it's the approach is different.
That's
how do we do that online? How do we do that online? Maybe we should have started that approach rather than telling them what it is. Go, hey, have you ever, thought about? Because a lot of people haven't thought about it. They've been watching Netflix too long. They've been like watching the celebrities and adoring the celebrities. And going back, that was another hard thing with Rufus, because my wife would watch movies and I'm walking in going, oh, that guy's on the client list, that on the list, and that guy. And did you know that actor is that? And he's been touching his girls. And so it makes it hard as well. But just wait till these people, they're not ready for that discussion at all. Because they've adorned the stars. The stars, they celebrate the celebrities, and these stars. And Hollywood has done a major trick on them, played a major trick on people's minds with
CIA.
That sort of shit. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you can't throw too much at them at one time. It's gonna just
I know.
It's gonna blow out.
Isn't
So
it?
you got to
Yeah,
kind of slowly, and I think maybe
We
that's
keep them
kind of what they're
entertained.
doing with the awakening too.
Right.
And Elon's gonna keep shooting these rockets up and be like, man, I just can't, I just can't
don't
seem
know
to make
about
it
that,
happen.
guy.
Something's got to be up. Something's got to be going on here. And
What do
play
you reckon
dumb,
with
like,
Elon?
oh, I didn't know, but
We were just discussing. Yeah, I
Sorry, maybe we can do this again some other time. What time is it for you, gentlemen, at the moment?
9:25 p.m. for me, 8:25
Okay.
for Rufus. Not too bad.
Okay. And you, Bill?
we were discussing that last time.
He's the
too,
same as me.
Same. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
About Elon. And
Yeah.
because I could see it in your face, you're like, "Where you can't figure that guy out, right?" Like we were discussing him last time.
I can't figure
saying
him
the
out.
same thing, and we're pretty convinced that if he's not part of disclosure, like purposely sending rockets up into explode and not make it into space, then he's a moron.
Yeah.
I
that's what I'm saying. He's just, how can he not just be acting like he doesn't know?
Right.
And
But he's made
shooting
a
it
few
up,
flat
but-
Earth posts, hasn't he? He's made a few.
Yeah.
Flattishly
Flash-
round.
What did he
a
say?
little
Flat is
bit.
round, and
Yeah.
he's, I don't know. As if
This
they
is
don't
about
know.
as close as you're gonna
As-
get to space
How
inside
As
of a
if
about-
they
dome.
don't know.
You can
They've
tell
known
it's
longer than
real.
We have.
Because how fake it looks.
Better look. Yeah. I
The
wrote that in my
classic.
book as well. Like, there
Yeah,
was a scene
no,
where
I
they're on the boat and they're watching that. So I tried to look. I didn't want to discredit, and I didn't discredit anyone. Even when I wrote about Neil deGrasse Tyson, I didn't
No, you
abuse him.
didn't.
I didn't write anything bad about him.
It's very
about
tasteful.
anyone whatsoever. Yeah. Thank you. And a lot of glow birthers have said that. It was like, okay, cool. I like the way you approached it because you didn't, like tease anyone. There was none of that, finger pointing. It was just like, but anyway, even Elon, I was like, okay, my wife helped me quite a bit because she was an editor, and maybe there would, when you write with anger, so don't do that's a good hint. Don't be angry when you write, because then she would read that and go, like, what, and it would edit it, and she was such a big help in that book, to be honest, huge,
That's awesome.
especially in piecing it together, and because you just write, and then you go, oh, hang on, maybe I can get that bit and put it there, and you're kind of doing that, right, and then at the end you go, yeah, that works. I've got it now.
I
And you'll know
stress
when you
over
get it,
making a minute and 20-second video. I can't even imagine the stress of putting together a novel, being like, okay,
Yeah,
this
it took
goes
about
here.
2
this
years
goes
to
here.
write that from start to finish. It was about 2 years and thousands of hours of research, thousands of discussions and chats with people, on Facebook. Like I probably had 10,000 conversations, which I tried to. Some of them were sparked. Like
Straight in.
synchronicity.
Right?
Synchronicity is amazing because sometimes I'd be writing and then, that word you're writing, you hear someone, it's like, what? It's like, is this God's way or the Creator's way of guiding me to say, keep going. You're on the right path. You're on the It's coming
Did you
together. And
set out to write it the way you did, or was it originally going to be like a proofs book? Because it seems like the way you did it was you had all the proofs laid out right from the jump, no holds bar, and then formed a story around it in a
I
sense.
couldn't
Dude,
even
I
explain
wish
it.
I could see this as a
there's
movie.
nothing. I can tell you what.
Yeah,
that's
he was
exactly
saying
what I
that.
want to
Yeah,
do. Yeah, it's exactly what I want to do. And
It's
sometimes, man, this is going to sound weird again, but I feel like I was guided to write that. And
Oh,
I
it
don't
doesn't
want to
sound
get
weird to
emotional now,
us.
but
You're in the right place for
fuck,
that.
Not at
man,
all.
there was
Yeah.
times I actually read it and go, how the fuck did I write this? And, like, I just can't believe that I
That's
did it, to
awesome.
be honest.
Yeah.
It could
You
be a
know, that
movie.
was-
It's
that was-
almost like written as a script in a way.
It is very
I've started
It is.
screenwriting it, but that's another skill to I've got to learn, and I'm getting there. It's sort of the
No, I mean, I feel
how do
like
you do the dialogue? How do you do the dialogue that the narrator is expressing into screenplay? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I felt like
Yeah.
your detail in that is almost a screenplay. Like when you would
I was gonna say,
describe
like,
the
it is
screech,
there.
yeah, the screeching of the tires as the car was following. Like there's so
Wow,
much
that's
detail
wicked.
in that. And I will
in
say,
it, yeah.
I'll put it out right now. I could have probably saved myself 8 years of researching Flat Earth if I just read your book, because it's
Wow,
all
man, that is
in there.
fun.
It's all in there. And not only
I
Flat
had,
Earth, I love that you touch on Tartaria, you touch on all of it. Like,
Yeah.
it all goes there, man.
evolution and
Yeah.
just all of that was a big thing for me as well, because I was awakening to the evolution lie. Not that I ever believed it, but then I started finding evidence again, like critical thought that we should all have. Like, did we really just evolve? Everything just evolved so perfectly
From an
no
amoeba.
way at all.
Just
Yeah, from one thing, and that created perfection. There's like no way, and the whole theory just falls apart.
my new favorite
um,
is Rufus's explanation. This dude thinks he came from an exploding rock. That just
'Cause that's
sums
what
it up
it is, isn't it?
perfectly.
Yeah, and if you listen to Michelle Feller, the astrophysicist, doesn't she say that? Oh, like the stars in my hand, or I'm the same as that rock. We're cousins. It's like,
Yeah, you might be. I'm not. You might be.
I'm not.
That begs
Exactly,
another
yeah.
question: how long has crack been around? Because maybe it did come from an exploding rock
Yeah.
inside of a glass pipe.
And
I'm just saying.
you smoked too much of it. Yeah, exactly. But it's funny that you said that, Ted, because one of my friends, who read the book, he got halfway. He's a flat earther. He got halfway and he goes, "There's no way he could keep talking about flat Earth. Like, he's covered everything, Coriolis, this, that, and he goes, no. And then by the end of it, he goes, you nailed it. Just like it kept going right to the end, almost from the start. So I had to try and logically think, like, what is the first thing that made me see? And it was my eyes.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to
said,
ask you. What was the first thing?
So perspective.
In the
Yeah,
book,
it
it
was like-
was
so that's
ships
why-
over the horizon or whatever. Which,
Yeah, that's why they start talking about eyes and how our eyes work, and perspective, and the convergence ramp.
dude,
like,
I
from the
wanted to
beginning,
be
because-
in that diner. I wanted to be there, sitting at that table with you guys. I literally felt like it was when I told Bill about Flat Earth. It was
Yeah.
a different situation, but
Wow.
it was the same thing, man. It was like your
Same
best
thing.
friend laying it out for them,
Yeah.
like. Oh, he's cheeky, and you're making this joke and that, and I was like, "Damn, man, he gets it. He's been through this. He's for sure been down this road because it's word for word."
That's why I guess that's why as a community, we're connected, because we've been through that.
Yeah,
Yeah. You probably went through that moment with the comment when the first person told you about it. Like, what do you mean? Did you get feisty with them online? Because I did. I remember seeing it on Facebook in 2000, and it was a friend of mine that went, and because I was always posting, like, probably I was a big glober at one point. Pictures of the globe, and did you know that scientists say there's a glass ceiling above? That was out in 2012. I'd already seen that article before becoming a flat earther. So I'd post that, and there was one guy who replied back, and I'll tell you something about this guy actually. He replied, "No way, that's not a globe. It's a flat stationary Earth. It's a realm. It's a blah blah blah." But have you seen that meme with Nikola Tesla saying Earth is a mechanism, it's a realm? He wrote that and then put Nikola Tesla on it. So be careful when sharing that meme, because Nikola Tesla didn't say that. It was a guy named Daryl Foss is his name. And he's the first guy I heard about Flat Earth from on Facebook, on the internet. Daryl Foss, or Daryl Fox. And you go, is still a friend of mine, and people often refer that. So I try and correct that, because the globe is are right sometimes. We do get it wrong. I thought that was right until he said, "No, man, I wrote that. That's my script." After
It's
he
mine. It's
he
my
tagged
quote.
it with Nikola Tesla. Yeah. Another one is, have you seen the green screen with the satellite over it? And it look, people say, "Oh, it's an outdoor big green screen monitor," and there's an international space station in front of it, and then people go, "Oh, like that's proof of NASA faking it." Another friend of mine did that. His name is Paul Knight. He's a flat earther as well.
Wow.
But they sometimes, like, I don't know why he did that, just to fuck with even us flat earthers, just to go, hey, how much will these people believe? He's a very skeptical guy. So if you post about, mud flood, or he'll go, oh, how do you know? Like
No,
and I
I
don't mind
back
that.
that.
I don't mind. I still want to be.
And
I don't
we're
wanna
also
be.
firm believers in posting things that you're not 100% sure about, because the first thing that got me to look into anything, like I knew 9/11 was bullshit. I knew stuff was bullshit, but I didn't know the degree. I was just like, whatever. But the Mandela effect was the first thing that got my mind like,
That's a big one.
okay, some shit's going on. And then the same person who posted that on YouTube posted a flat earth video. And my initial reaction was, I can't believe I'm so dumb that I thought the Mandela effect was real because this idiot is posting flat earth videos. I'm going to watch this flat earth video and I'm going to show it to Bill tomorrow at work and we're going to laugh at them and it's going to be great. That's the day my life changed. It all changed from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, you want to talk about, I know this guy. I did not know this guy when he walked in the door that next day.
Yeah.
It was like a totally different
We've known
person.
each other for 25 years. And then this was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah,
So,
right.
So that's why I'm saying when I read your book, I was like, this is us, man. This is us.
Wow. That is awesome, man.
We were friends from high school, and then we worked together after high school, and literally we were going to a job in Miami together. And I was up all night the night before, and I was like, Bill, dude, you got to look at this. You got to look because I'm either crazy or something's up. And like, I told him that morning, I was like, you got to drive today because I'm too tired. I was up all night looking at YouTube videos. But then when we got in the car, I was like, no, fuck it. I'll drive. You need to watch this. And we literally, I remember plugging the phone in the van our work van, because we knew YouTube was going to kill the battery. And I plugged it in and I said, you need to watch this. And it was like either 21 Questions or 200 Proofs by Eric Dubay. I don't remember which one it was because it spiraled into so many after that. And it was just over after that. It was just over. It was like,
I think, we didn't even make it. We didn't even make it to work that day. We had to pull over. I was like, we got to pull over, dude.
Yeah.
I felt sick. I did. I felt nauseous.
I think I did too, to be honest.
Yeah,
man.
And then it was just this like extreme depression.
Yeah.
For like 10 days,
and
then anger, like pissed.
Anger. What's the 4 stages? I think
the stages are grief.
Anger,
no, it is real, and I
realization, and then you're like free at the end, and you're sort of like.
Still, every once in a while, like you dip back into them a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, but more so just the anger.
You go, no way, this can't be right, and you start questioning your sanity. Is this real? Is it really?
No, I do it almost every day.
No,
I ask
I do
myself.
that too. I have to. I have to do that. I have to keep my.
You got to do it.
Yeah, you got to. They go up because the Earth's so big and you're only small. I get your concept, but that's a concept. Can we prove this concept?
Yeah,
and
that's the
where
thing.
we're at.
I will say
we understand your concept.
Your book pointed out one thing I never thought of, because I've always heard the people say, "Oh, well, the Earth could be much bigger, and that's why we don't see the curve." And my answer is always, "Well, we would see the curve still eventually," which is true. But your book also pointed out if the Earth was that much bigger, it would affect the rotation. It would affect day and night times. It would affect
everything.
I never thought about that.
The whole model is done for.
Start rewriting your model again, guys. Because it's bigger, it spins faster to complete a daily revolution.
Yep.
Oh, it's RPM. Don't you love
Right?
that
Oh
argument?
yeah.
RPM. That is now. But if you Google how fast is the Earth spin, it actually doesn't say RPM. It actually says miles
Miles
per
per
Yeah.
hour,
hour.
right?
Yes, it
And
does.
RPM,
100%.
RPM is like just going RPM to miles per hour is going like kilometers or miles per hour. It's just a
Yeah.
language. It's a
I get
translation
into it
of
with that
yeah.
all the time with them.
Like
Dude, what
your
if that's the
wheels are
reason? What
doing
if that's
your
the
wheels are
reason
doing
for
an
this
RPM.
system is to
Yeah.
make all the math fit?
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
couldn't
That's
fit it
exactly
with
what it
such
was.
a
It was the
logical
math.
It is.
system
It
as the
is.
Oh
metric
yeah.
system.
Yep. So then
So
Machun's got to come in and come up, or no, it's 0.06 RPM or something. But RPM. Like, okay, so your wheel on the car is doing a revolution per minute, isn't it? But that's translating to your speedo as miles per hour. So it's just a translating data to a different language, which is what it is. And RPM it relates to feed speed. There's still got to be a speed, a measurable speed. You don't go RPM, and RPM is different on a cylinder. The RPM would be consistent at all parts of the cylinder. On a sphere, it's wider, it's greater here than here. So you can't go RPM anymore. Take your RPM model away because it doesn't work. If you're, I used to be a fitter and turner in my old days. Using lathes, milling machines, fixing massive printing machines, yellow pages. You guys have yellow pages?
Oh, yeah.
So the yellow pages
wow.
machines were about 200 meters long and 3 stories high. And we used to repair those machines and install them and all that sort of shit. So I do know a little bit about stuff and use lathes. So when you're turning a cylinder, you can cut straight across and do it on the camera. But on a sphere, if you're cutting a sphere, gee, that's hard to do on a lathe because you've got to count for this whole spherical, you can't just cut across. You've got to do this with a lathe.
What I always tell them is they try to convert it to RPM, and I'm like, oh, that's great if we didn't know the supposed circumference of the Earth, because we do, we can take the RPMs and multiply them by the circumference, and we can tell you what the linear speed is at the crust of the Earth. It's gone.
Not at all. So even with the lathe example that I just explained, let's say you're cutting a ball, the cutting speed here is going to be different to the cutting speed here because of rotating, especially. Do you get that? Yeah. So you can't go RPM anymore. You've got on your lathe, you've actually got a dial that goes RPM and it tells you the speed on there. It goes RPM is this and speed next to it. It actually tells you side by side what you're actually doing there because it actually reverts back to an actual number. So the bigger the cylinder, you're going to cut it slower. The smaller it is, you're going to freaking turn that fast because it's going too slow. It's going to be like a fucking screw mark in there, a groove in there, right? Yeah, so it's all relative, and they don't get that, and they think we're stupid. But I've done this, man. I've done this stuff. I went to trade school, learned spherical trigonometry. Not that I know it anymore. It was like 20 years, 30 years ago now. I was like 16. But no. And, am I going to argue with these people online? To explain all this to that guy and that guy and that guy? So
We're talking to the people behind him.
He left. We won. He's gone. We won the argument because Billy didn't come back and finish it. It's like, whoa. But my wife taught
you got
me
me
with that. She taught me how to just go walk away. Don't fight him. Well, I walk down the street and every guy that picks on me, I'm going to fight with them. No. But I'll pick my fights. Like, you better watch it.
So I want to
know
how much...
your energy bank is only so big, and you got to pick and choose what you're going to waste that on.
You do, don't you? And you got to find the genuine people online because there are genuine people. That. What's that guy, Peter Chikowski?
You already know.
Oh, he's an energy drainer, man.
Oh my God.
Well, he was actually, with everything I posted, he was replying within 1 minute. Like if I posted something about temperature, you're going to
15 seconds.
Dude,
I think the record was 15 seconds.
Oh, 15 seconds. Sorry, you're right.
But try to comprehend that.
Within seconds. So guess what? Last week I posted something. I said, "Can someone please show me a real photo of the Earth?" He responded within, as you said, 15 seconds. But he said, "I'm on a computer and I am unable to." So the chat GPT.
Oh, you nailed him. Did you get him?
I showed Ted. Can you show? I'll show you this screenshot. How can I do that? Where can I share that? Chat with everyone.
Oh, let me see.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Well, while we're doing that,
where can I show? Present. Okay.
Oh yeah. Present. Yeah, I got it. I have another thing to
computer?
show you about him too. It's very funny. I have it right
Cool,
here
cool.
in our. Let me see. I can
I think it was in our
screenshot
chat.
it.
I might have sent.
I got it. Hold on.
I
I'm
might have
bringing
sent
it
you
up. Present.
Cool. Wasn't that a dead giveaway? We got him. We got
That's
him.
awesome. I'm glad somebody got it. Like
He said,
proved that he's
"Oh
using
my dear
Chat
human,
GPT.
I'm afraid." Yeah, he said, "Oh my dear human, I'm afraid I haven't had the chance to take a photo of Earth's curvature with my own camera, as I'm a digital entity without a physical form. However, I could show you a photo taken by an astronaut or a satellite. Would you like to see one of these?" It's like, what?
Wow.
I know, it's so good.
Caught him.
So
Where do I
we had him on our podcast where we did this thing where we just kind of threw the link out on Twitter where anybody could pick it up and grab
Pick
it.
it up and come right on the show.
And I literally got him to admit live that he could not prove anything about the globe. And then I made a funny video about it, which I have ready, but I want to show you something else first. So let's see. Share screen. I'm trying to pull up the thing that you were talking about. So there we go. Share. So there's.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. It came
Yeah,
up with
there it is.
invalid file type. Yeah, that's the comment. Yeah, after I asked, can you show me a photo? It was that meme that you've
that's
probably
good.
seen going around. Can someone show me a photo of the Earth using their own device? Did you see that meme that probably posted last week?
Yeah,
and that's how he responded. Oh my dear human. So you're not human because I don't call my friends. Oh my dear humans, how are you today? You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
fucking hell. That
I've been
gave it away
waiting
for
to
me. I was
see
like,
this.
What is this guy writing? Like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
so this
And
was recently too.
Yeah.
this was like
Oh,
15
so you know he uses now. You know he's the
Now
it's
super
official.
premium upgrade with
oh,
Grok.
100%. How does he do this? He's got sums and he's targeting.
We know
us.
you pay $22 a month,
He's
Peter.
got the grok.
Look at the time. The time
How
was
does he
great.
You're
do that?
outed.
Is
So-
he manually But is he manually taking my question, pumping it into ChatGPT,
I think
and then
so.
typing that
I
back?
think
That's
so.
exactly
I
what
think
he
that's what
thinks.
he's
There's
no
doing.
way.
15 seconds. Within 15 seconds, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I've been
Yeah,
using
no.
computers now for many years. I'm a website developer, and you cannot type that quick and
No
get
way.
that and go post, book. So it's
he's like,
automated.
he just like
He's like got
copies
a-
and
he's got-
pastes your
I reckon he's
post,
got a chat
Yeah.
GPT. There
He
must
does
be
it to
some
all of us,
engine.
dude.
and he says,
And
write a
he just
response
goes-
to this.
And he goes, follow this Twitter account, follow that one, follow that one. They must have they've got some API that they've
Oh, we're
developed
all on
that they-
lists. We're
Yeah?
all on lists.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And
Because
if
there's
all
no
the
way
alerts are
you'd-
set, so then as soon as he just sits, can you just imagine? Can we just talk about how he has to sit there, right?
all day.
And every alert, the moment it pops up, like, doesn't he have like
A lot.
things to do, like bills and
Exactly.
stuff? Doesn't he have to take a poop?
No,
Does he ever have to take a shit? Like, what? How is that even possible?
no, he
And do
doesn't.
they ever go outdoors? Have you ever seen a globe earther go outdoors, like with their
No.
P900 to prove curvature?
No.
Never. All these years, they never go outdoors. They tell you you can't focus into the stars. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know fucking how to use this camera. But they don't go, and here's my camera. Here's my telescope. They go, get a telescope. Well, fucking you show me with your telescope. Because I don't know what I'm doing. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've
I get
seen-
that.
I've
We
got
get
a-
the one
I've got a
guy,
telescope as well. When I point to the stars, I see the same things with my
Astronomy
P900.
Live. You ever heard?
And with my eyes.
You ever dealt with
Astronomy
him?
Live, oh yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. That one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been doing. I'm a expert. I have this guy today on Facebook. What did he? He said I'm a 10-year astronomer. Blah 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 blah. If you guys don't have at least 10 years experience in astronomy that you can verify to me, I'm just gonna. I'd remember his comment was as soon as I got
Who
up.
has
like, this
10
guy-
years to look
10
into a
years.
glass
minimum. Yeah, that you can. And then he
besides an
started getting-
alcoholic?
he started getting hammered by mutual friends and that, and then he goes, but I've seen the curvature of the Earth, and he posts a photo from an aeroplane with the curve of the globe there, like,
God.
fuck
no.
me,
I love
man. I was like,
those.
okay, Neil deGrasse, your astrophysicist friend says that you couldn't see at 120,000 feet. So what's your, like, really?
Dude, they're all backing away from
So-
him now.
Really?
I was gonna say that's why everyone's trying to
Aren't they?
distance
You want to
themselves.
see
Yeah,
the
everybody-
video I made of Peter Golubinski? You ready?
Yeah, I think I saw. Yeah, let's do it. I think I saw this one. Oh, no.
This was clipped from him talking to
I
me.
cannot. I cannot. I cannot prove any of those things. I cannot prove any things. Yeah.
What a cracker. I
Oh,
cannot prove
that's
any
good.
of those things.
That's
So
good.
what can you prove,
I
man?
know. That's
What
what he
can you
said.
prove?
I cannot prove
any
any of those things to you, Ted. I just split
All
it up.
they could do is
Wow.
call us grifters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we're making all this money off
Yeah.
of a false narrative
So
that's
much
growing
money.
by the hundreds of thousands a year. Now it's probably, you know what I mean? Like,
Millions, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
who
Brazil-
knows? I'm scared to
Who
think of the number,
knows?
honestly, in a
Yeah.
good way. Scared though. I'm
I
like,
tried to write
because
about that data that I presented in the book that,
Yeah.
10% of people in France,
Yeah.
3% in Russia. That was at the time.
And
when
Brazil.
So now it's Brazil is growing everywhere.
20
as
million
Ted
or
said
something
before,
in
like
Brazil.
COVID
Something like
lockdown, COVID, yeah. 30% of people in Brazil believe that the earth could be flat.
Crazy.
30% of millennials in America believe that the sun, when asked, does the sun move across the sky or are you spinning? They said it goes across the sky. And that's in our the words we use when we speak. If you ask
Yeah.
people, you're outside, oh yeah, the sun just is moving away. That's what people say. They don't go, I'm spinning. Even
Yeah,
our,
you're falling away
sun
from it, right?
sets,
Yeah.
the sun is
Spinning.
acting, not us acting. The sun is acting. Sunset, sunrise is rising. So we're not spinning. Earth spin. We don't say it, do we?
Yeah,
Earth spin.
exactly.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Earth spin. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're more like globe debunkers than actual flat earthers. Because
Yeah.
if we're being honest with ourselves, there's not a whole lot that we can actually prove.
Right.
As in the what a map
On
I
the
can't do
wide
that. I
scale,
agree. I can't
or
prove that.
exactly
Yeah, we
how
don't-
this thing works. I mean,
Yep.
They're right.
No.
We don't have a
You've-
picture of the flat Earth from
No.
way high
Oh
up.
God.
They don't
Yeah,
have
oh,
a
God.
picture of the globe Earth from way high up.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. It's
yeah,
equal.
and that's why we're here. That's honestly
what?
why we're here. And if anybody's being honest, that's why we are in this debate right
Absolutely.
now.
And you know what? You've
Because
got to
there
come.
is no proof.
Yeah, absolutely. And the sooner you can admit that there's proof of flatness and no curvature.
Right, yeah,
but
for sure.
You can't prove the entire model of the world. I don't think there's any scientist on Earth that can actually do that. I don't think even NASA knows. I don't think anyone knows. It's just fucking God's secret. And the minute it's like a gaming developer, you're playing this game, but you don't know what he's, and as soon as that guy will just rewrite the game and do a part 2 or whatever, or it crashes, who fucking knows. But I don't think it was correct. It was intended by the creator for us to discover this thing. There were hints
we're
on what
not
it could
supposed
be.
to know everything.
But we're not supposed to
That's
know.
what I said.
Do not make a graven image of the earth. I think it even says in the Bible or a lot of biblical writings. Don't do that. Don't make a graven image of God. Like, don't picture what he looks like because you don't know. Is it a he or she? Is it a
well, the
creator?
only reason why it's such a big deal is because we were deceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were told the whole truth from the beginning, it wouldn't even be,
it
wouldn't be any different from anything. But now that we found
exactly.
they deceived
But because
us,
they actually, you're right. Because they actually came up with globe and showed us this and deceived us. It's like, hang on, it must be a reason you did that to deceive the world in this way. Because you could have just said, we don't know. We don't know what we still haven't worked out what this Earth is over many years since the scientific process of inquiry came in. But we're working on it. We're trying to work, and we've discovered this, and we've discovered that there isn't this, and there isn't that, and it's a process of elimination. But they haven't done that. They've come with a proven model that we go around the sun flies through the universe, and all this stuff is happening. And there's other planets now in the star. We can look at those planets, with a telescope. My telescope can see back in time. Your telescope can't see back in time. You know what I mean? Mine's bigger than. It's like just fucking ridiculous. So that is, and why, and the experience that we felt when we woke up to this, it connected me with the creator again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Even
was
though he was.
atheist.
I was never.
Atheist before this. I found flat Earth, and I was like, "Oh my God, there's a creation. A creation demands a creator. That's it. That's all I needed."
and
It's so
respect,
logical.
man,
It's
and
so
respect.
Yeah.
A lot of the problems in our society
Yeah.
could go back to the fact that there's just no respect anymore. And if we would have we've been robbed of our ability to appreciate this world for what it really is
for what
and
it
what
really
we're
is,
really
yeah.
truly supposed to be. And instead we just turn into a bunch of disrespectful assholes that don't appreciate anything.
Materialistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's
Guess-
just chasing
guess
this
what
materialistic
giant
thing.
We always want
humiliation
more and
check
more
is
and
coming.
more, but we don't appreciate any of it, and
Absolutely.
it's just
Everybody's
disgusting.
about
And
to
isn't it
get a
funny that,
humility
you know,
check.
you guys-
That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
You know
Sorry?
everybody's about to get a humiliation check.
Absolutely.
And when you
absolutely.
get humility,
And
all of a sudden, like, wow, I do it all, and then you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And everybody's on a
That's-
level playing field all of a sudden.
And you know, you're
Wow.
right, and you're right. Like, and
Sounds a
there
lot
are
like a
people-
reset.
It
doesn't
does,
it?
doesn't it? It does, yeah. And there are people who can accept it, like you guys. You can accept this once but there are people who will just dig their fucking heels in.
Oh yeah.
And there's no way,
I know.
I'm going
Dude, there's
from
gonna
an
be people
atheist.
that off themselves.
I
That's
did this,
that's
and
scary.
Yeah, fucking.
They're gonna
for
off
sure.
themselves
Excuse me.
because of that.
Anyone who's
Absolutely,
listening
man.
to this, we've all got someone you can reach out to.
Reach out,
Don't
man.
off yourself.
Yeah.
If you're
That
new to
was well-
this, everyone has
we've-
gone through this. Okay,
Rufus
is trying to
You'll get
save
through it
YouTube.
too.
And I think one of you guys might have made a post recently where it was someone, it was a massive globe earther and an atheist and everything. And then, he was ready to take his own life. And then he realized the earth's flat, and it brought him to a creator and the realization that this world is far more beautiful than what it is, as Rufus said. And he now is never going to think of that again, to take your own life, because it's not yours to take. It was given to you by a creator. You were here for a reason. No matter how hard it is, whatever, you get through that. It's like a roller coaster ride, and there's going to be good parts and bad parts of it. And you just got to get through it. But it's very important. I think it's the most important topic, and it's why they came up with stupid theories like evolution, to make us think we came from a fucking monkey. Why'd you do that for?
Exactly.
When no proof.
Exactly.
Why'd you say that and teach kids that? And now they're like, the first things they do is they want a dinosaur and all these crap fake things that aren't real. You prove, but accept it as proof. And I argue with my elder son, is like 31 now, but he would have been 21 when I told him the earth is flat.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, he was triggered big time. Still do. We had massive arguments. Never greater than any other topic that we've ever argued about in our life. So that's with your own kids. That's occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I kind of, did Zig as because I didn't want my family getting hassled with these globe earthers, and that's why I wrote it with the pseudonym of Zig. And it's like a very and I think the biggest thing is because the atheism thing has took over the world. And that's what I was going to say. When I was young, like going to school, everyone believed in God and no one believed in aliens. But now everyone believes in aliens, but doesn't believe in God. So it's this inversion of...
That's
isn't
deep,
it?
man.
They've
That
really
really
inverted
is.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's, once you sort of get that what they've done and the possibility of a God, no way at all. Possibility of an alien? Oh, yeah, there could be. We go to this planet and there was life there, and it's just fucking like major deception. And who's the biggest deceiver in the world? Satan. I don't know why. Why did God make Satan then? Just all of that shit. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know the battle they're having.
Everything
maybe
comes
it's
down to free
will.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I think
he
so,
has
at least.
to, because it doesn't work any other way.
Well,
Doesn't
because
work
if
any other
he
way to
didn't give
fall-
us free will, he wouldn't be God. He wouldn't be the God we know. It would be totally different. So you can't
it's like
draw a
Johnny,
line on free will. It's either free will or it's not free will. And unfortunately,
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean,
No
do you feel like these people that are in charge, that are doing all these evil things? I mean, do they have free will and they're just like free will planning this, or is it something more spiritual?
well, I think they're
than that? I don't
influenced
know.
by Satan or whatever you want to call it, whatever it
Mhm.
is. But-
Money.
by
Money.
dark
Power.
energy, by ego, by a lot of that. Some people don't want to see other, like they've got all of this and they don't want you to have it. There's greed. There's a lot of things. That there's a knowledge is power. That statement. So if they have more knowledge than you, they can control you.
And they have.
Because if the world woke up to this thing, man, it wouldn't be wars. There
No.
wouldn't be famine. There wouldn't be fucking celebrities getting paid. Excuse me for swearing. I'm,
No,
I
you're
you're
good.
welcome
Um,
to.
good.
there wouldn't be celebrities getting paid, $400 million for a movie. I don't know what they get paid or whatever. And then, this guy helping gets nothing. Yeah. What's this?
Exactly.
but
It's
yeah,
I mean,
all
do you think
messed
they
up.
have to pay him that much to keep him from exposing the secrets? Some of them,
Or is it to
or is it that
glamorize
just
them?
yeah, to
So then
make it
all the
like
other teams, that it's like that Beatles syndrome where they put a band up there and everyone, oh, I want to be a band, I want to get in a band
Yeah.
too, and then
that
that
makes
false
sense.
hope, and they never get into it. It's like just having this hope, false hope of you ask how many kids these look at them, look at the young kids the way they are these days. They want to be TikTokers already at 8 and 10 years old and be all famous and like what
Yeah, I had to
you want to
shut
be
that
Miley
shit right down.
Cyrus and
I had to
sorry.
shut that shit down with my daughter real quick. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
not happening.
Good on you, man. Good on you. But you got to be a little bit, a bit. We've got to be tough on them, don't we? Tough love sort of thing. I had friends of, not friends, but people going, oh yeah, taking my girls to see Barbie tonight. Like, how old are they? That Barbie movie,
Yeah.
Oh, 10 years old. What the heck would you show a 10-year-old that? And what are the repercussions after showing a 10-year-old that? Are they going to turn into a little brat? Yeah. Well, they are already.
They probably, I was going to say they already are.
I'm going to be a prince.
Yeah.
I want to be a princess. I want to have a guy looking after me, and women are better than men. And like, what is this whole world going to? It's freaking scary, isn't it? But I reckon we're going to
I
beat
don't like
them
a guy unless he's got skinny jeans on.
Yeah. I got to ask you, what was the first thing that broke your eye open to realizing that CBS and CNN didn't have the truth, that there was something more out there than you were being told? What was the very first thing for you? Because you're like 10 years older than us. So, yeah. I mean, that seems like a big point.
Was a massive one, wasn't it? And I was a huge 9/11 defender, because I was watched it live, and I was flying the next morning. Like 9/11, I flew that morning because it was still like in our time zone difference.
Before.
It was. It would have been 10/11, I guess, the day I flew, but it was like literally I left my home watching this buildings being blown up to the airport, flying from Adelaide to Sydney, and everyone on the plane was shitting themselves, man. Like, are we going to be the next city? Is this the plane that's going to attack there? And it's fucking like really
But you're
scary.
all criminals,
But
so
then
everyone's afraid of you,
about 2
right?
years, sorry?
I said you're all criminals in Australia, right? It was a criminal colony, right? Come on. So you were afraid.
How much different was flying before 9/11 and then afterwards?
Everything changed.
It sucks now.
So sorry you were on the plane.
Like
On purpose.
And then,
we don't want you guys
it's like a
going all over the
symbolism
place.
for our whole entire society. It's like just anxiety. Took like a kind of fun thing to do.
I was right to 9/11, the
complete
fucking
crap.
Arabs, I didn't even know anything about Muslims
it was
before,
full
but the
normie.
media was coming out,
Yeah.
Muslim this and that, and be careful of those
That
guys.
coming together moment, right? Yeah. Like
I was already a conspiracy theorist. I fucking knew the moon landings were fake, but still, CNN, all this,
it seems so real, so big.
That drum they've got that they can beat so loud around the world on every station. Doesn't matter where you change. They're so good at it, aren't they? So it took maybe about a year, and because I'd seen all the 9/11 video, everything, and searching for this, and that victim said that, and that person, and this is how the buildings fell down, and this is why they had all the answers straight away, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
But then it took. I think that's when I must have learned the word hoax at that point. So I went, fuck it, I'll just search 9/11 hoax.
And
then,
nice and easy.
Wow. Yeah, so you asked the question, when did I wake up to CNN and NBN? And it was like, what? And just,
man.
fucking changed my life. Like I was running companies at that stage, and I couldn't anymore. I didn't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to do that shit anymore. I don't want to be in your club. I don't want to be in that club, that, the greed club, really, because what are these guys doing? Hoarding money?
Yeah,
why? What are you hoarding? What's this? That's a bit of a sickness, really, that you've got millions and millions and millions of dollars, but you want more. Congratulations. Don't spend time with your family or connecting yourself with nature, they don't want that.
Yeah.
But that was a big moment.
How much of that, how much of Max and the Zoe thing and all that is somewhat related to your real life, or is it all fiction?
No, a lot of it's real.
I figured.
So it could be
the way you wrote it, I was like, come on.
The only part was that I'm not a millionaire. Like Max in the book is a millionaire because he sold a big company for like 250 million. And that's what, because I thought, well, how does he get the money to fund his expedition that he wants to do? How does he have a spare 10 million to buy a high altitude satellite and launch it out there? And we should have already done this anyway. Not we, but The globe earthers should have done that to prove it's a globe.
I know.
Buy one of those
Yeah, whenever they're ready,
satellites
man.
with the wings, chuck it out at 100,000 feet and go around the globe and take us real footage. If they want, if Google and all those want to, and do a northern circumnavigation, go this way, like prove it, but they won't prove it. So a lot of it is, so to answer your question, a lot of the characters, like even Pierre, who's the captain of the sea, he's a real guy.
How about the housekeeper? That one seemed real. Very real.
Yeah, no, she was made up. She was made up. Yeah,
no way.
I was like, damn, man, that seems like a real person.
I had to drop in some real some Greek truth bombs. I had to make her like a Greek character, and that's why Max was sort of
with the
Greek
banana shape at the end. How she's the one who pointed
exactly.
it out.
Yeah, like a try and tie in, and I brought in Alex, conspiracy music guru. His song came up at the end.
His song.
I gave Dave the Flat Earth map a plug where he pulls out. There was a lot of truth in it, actually. Even the scientist. There's a scene where he chats with the JP, or I was almost going to give his name away.
Remember.
But that's related to a real name, and that is guy's a 31-year Commonwealth of Australia scientist.
Oh wow!
And I remember when I told him that the Earth is flat, because it was the first guy I went to when I heard that the Earth could be flat. And I was trying to find proof because I thought he's a scientist, man, telecommunications expert, worked on satellites, supposed satellites, what he thought was satellites. Right. His data, now he's like not on board with that at all. But he was so triggered. He was like ready to, unfriend me. He was like, "You're a fucking idiot, Phil. Don't even fucking bring that up again." I still got his email. It was like fucking deep. And then he didn't call me for about 2 years. Yeah. He's now moved to the country, New South Wales. But he now says that he can see, when he goes to the top of the mountain, he sees for hundreds and hundreds of miles out there. And he doesn't think he won't quite say he's a flat earther, but he knows the globe model is bullshit.
Yep.
He never considered satellites on balloons, never considered the other satellite, the possibilities of how they could deliver communication around the world. To him, he was sold, and he's a telco expert, man, like delivered the first base station for mobile phones in Australia for the military. That's who first heard it, had that technology. And he never in a million years thought that the Earth could be flat. He always thought these satellites are up there 25,000 kilometers away, and he can ping them from with his equipment. Yeah. And then, but now he knows about troposcatter, that they can bounce signals off the
troposphere and all that. Yep.
The firmament, yeah, for sure. So there's a lot of ways of bouncing signals, or it's amazing. But yeah, the book was written on a lot of those characters were, based on real people, real, changed.
I'll tell you
names,
what, man, it's a great book.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There's a lot of good quotes in it too. Like if you read the book and you get to the end where the story stops, keep reading the rest. Because there's a lot of good quotes in there and a lot of good stuff.
At the end of it, there are a lot of good quotes and a lot of famous people, a lot of physicists and some of the smartest minds of all time.
I know. I like how you threw the quotes in there that went along with the line in the story. Like, oh, this is a famous scientist, and they said this, and it fits perfectly with what I'm saying. It's well done.
And
for sure.
Just thank you so much, mate. It means the world to me. And just even introducing Nikola, we got introduced to Nikola Tesla, I don't know how long, ago, but why didn't we know about this guy?
I never heard of him in school, ever.
Never heard of him. They were just, Einstein, Newton, Copernicus, this, Michelson, Morley, never heard of that. Sagnac experiment, never heard of that. Aries factor, never. Why?
We know why now.
Now we know why. So that was a huge thing, even learning about flat Earth and finding out about the why. And then you go, well, what experiment do we have to prove the Earth spins? We don't. Zero.
Nothing.
Zero. And that's sad. These globe earthers should be so pissed off. I think I posted something the other day, and it was like, hey globe earthers, why don't you contact NASA and get a photo of have one of the astronauts on the ISS take real video footage of one of these SpaceX satellites or rockets, real time,
going by.
And the answer, they should be doing that. They could shut us down so fast. It's not even funny.
Yeah, they
Couldn't
could
They've done
if
all
it
that,
was
Billy.
real.
They've done it
They've
all
already
already.
done it. They've already
Yeah.
done it. Yeah. Have
They
you
don't
seen
even
the
have to
night?
go back to the moon, but they're doing it just for us. Okay.
I think someone.
Well,
yeah,
they're
I know.
going to do it.
Oh, for
Yeah,
you
in the
flat
future.
earthers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not for another 2
Well, why
years.
don't you get on a rocket and go there? You just want a free ride to
Yeah.
the moon.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
We're gonna send you up first. Once
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
When
once
Neil
the
deGrasse
commercial
Tyson
space
was on
program's
Joe
going,
Rogan,
you're first.
I just think these
I
flat
put my
earthers
hand
want
up
a
to-
free ride.
NASA,
Yeah.
send me. I'm going. I want to go to the moon, and I want to get on that buggy and do some burnouts and donuts. You know,
no.
like fucking drive around. Yeah.
No
Imagine having-
fear,
like, if
no
that was
fear at
possible,
all of ripping
no
your
fear at
spacesuit.
all.
Nothing.
No,
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Just-
just gonna go there and like
Your guts
no-
would be sucked out, but you don't care. Just whatever. I'm playing golf. I'm on the buggy. I'm
so
good.
ridiculous. And if
Dude,
you
those
think
early space suits where their boots aren't even like connected to the suit, too.
Oh,
I know
man.
zippers have zippers as a seal. Like really, okay, that's what a seal. You know, like, sure. They should have that on diving suits, just a zipper like that.
For real, dude, it looks like
Yeah.
a snowmobile
I
suit.
know.
Yeah.
We all know
Just
why KK
exposed
got the
tubes
lock on
connected
that
to it.
space. That space lock. The zippers.
Yeah, the floppy door. It's a floppy. Oh, but that's just the outer door. Like, come on, man. You can just like they've just got every excuse under the sun, and they act like they're space experts all of a sudden. Like they know everything. They've been there.
Oh,
They've experienced it. NASA would never lie because never in a million years would
Oh, they've always
And
had
I'm
an
not
excuse,
saying that
man.
NASA being fake proves the Earth is flat.
No.
No.
But
it proves they're
for you
lying.
to continually say that, like, I've seen people now that are like, before they were not even about NASA being flat, right? Or NASA being fake. Now they're like, well, okay, there is some questionable stuff about NASA, but it still doesn't mean it's flat. It's like, okay, you're getting there.
You're getting there.
Are
You're
you
getting
just going to stop? Right? That's where you're going to end it because you just don't want it to be flat?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Sad. There's a real, yeah, it's like they've got a real big hurdle to jump at that point, haven't they? They're just like, because I
but
think
it's really not. That's my point. It's
you
like
know,
it's not a big
the
hurdle.
thing is, man,
It's
I remember
really not.
when I first realized the Earth was flat, man, and then is a creator, the whole thing. I think I cried, man, like a bitch, right? It was like fucking, yeah, like
No,
what?
yeah.
You know, I'm wrong. I was wrong, and how could I not see this? And it's
I
a
just
freaking
stared in
big
the
moment.
refrigerator for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I found myself doing that. I was just like, wow, it just changed everything, and work and look. A lot of people don't. My brother accepted it and just can move on, like no worry. But other people, I don't know. What is it with certain people like us, where like are we, as being frontline soldiers for this as well? Because that's what we are. We're at the front line,
Yeah.
introducing us to people, taking all the friggin' the flack from
Oh
everyone.
yeah.
And a lot of people go, look, it doesn't matter, cool, it's flat, I accept it, and they just go back to work and just be,
Right. Yeah.
and do their thing. But I don't know, like to me, it just really, I think it changes so much that I just want to show, we've got to show others, and
Well,
if you
you're
could just wake
definitely
up,
doing that with your book, and just by you, going on Twitter and doing what you do. And you're inspiring us. We're inspiring you.
You guys
We're all doing
likewise.
this.
Likewise.
Yeah, man, like together, and it's
That's why we
pretty
need to
damn
get rid of
awesome.
all the infighting, man, and
Absolutely.
find a way
Yeah.
to unite.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
you'll
we're gonna
very
have some
rarely see me do.
disagreements,
If
but-
you see me doing that, I've just like bottled things up, and you got to. So, but I generally don't. I try to fight with the flat earthers. I have
Yeah.
questions about some of the flat earthers, some of the but anyway, I don't even want to I'm not
Yeah,
gonna,
we'll say that to next time, though,
we
for
all
sure.
agree.
'cause,
We agree on the fundamental principle that we've been lied to.
Yeah.
Is it a dome? Is it this? Is it that? Like, is the dome flat? Is it curved?
Exactly.
Oh, it's definitely, the Bible says this. Like, I can't, it's very interesting the Bible says that, but can I take the Bible as, absolute
gospel?
truth? I don't know.
Yeah.
or is it
Gospel?
proof?
Yeah.
The
Gospel,
Bible in
you
no
know?
way is proof of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
It's a
itself.
fascinating book, because if they
is very
thought, if they
fascinating.
could see that back then, that's what blows me away. And all the so that's what I started. I think my intent on my book, and as a part of it in there, that where Max starts to see that the Bible says it's flat, The Mayans said it's flat.
Yeah.
The Islamic books say it's flat. The Hebrew, everyone thought it was flat. And he sort of gets to a point where we'll go, hey, this could be a uniting factor between all our religions, that we all agree on this one fundamental principle, that the earth is not a ball and it was made with intent and purpose. And I think that's freaking huge. If we can reach that and all religions just go, all right, we disagree on, did Jesus die and that way, and we disagree on whatever. Yeah. But how is it that all our books talk about a firmament or the rakia or the stadioma in Greek, which means a solid? So stadioma in Greek means firmament. And it actually, the definition is it's actually a solid, like the rakia in Hebrew. Why, how, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but it's freaking fascinating that all of these cultures around the world
on our way to a lot of them. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, and even more questions, which is going to ignite curiosity, and it's going to spark all of us. We're going to make it happen, dude. We're going to do that.
I think so.
We're going to do that trip to Antarctica. It's, someone's going to do it, even if we get blasted on the way down.
I know.
At least then we can prove that, they
we're going to go anyway somehow. So, that'd be a great way to go, wouldn't it? Something,
right?
They can't get rid of us all at the same time, can they?
If only you were really a multimillionaire like
thanks,
Max,
man.
we'd be good.
I know, yeah. Maybe we can collectively do that one day, fund an expedition out there and I don't know. Maybe we get Elon Musk.
They better hope none of us win the lottery, man.
How about we get Elon Musk to bloody help us,
I know, he's clearly a flat earther, so.
Yeah, just lend us your rocket ship for a week or so, man. We'll just go out that way.
Yeah.
We'll go further than Bermuda Triangle. We'll go a bit further.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, gentlemen, and I apologize for being late, but let's do it again sometime.
No, we will for sure.
Definitely happen
for sure. So this is
where
we say
do it at this time.
We do it different times. I mean, normally we used to do it on Sundays. We do it split up. I know it's very hard with you. What is it? 13 hours ahead or whatever it is. I have it written down. It's very hard to get together when you're literally
isn't it?
on Sunday right now and we're on Saturday. It mixes it all up, but we made it happen.
Down under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
down
man.
under thing, isn't it?
A lot of headache medicine and stuff like that.
And a lot of times
you'll be all right.
We'll throw out a post and stuff on Twitter when we do a live thing, so we'll send that to you from now on. But we'll definitely get together again and do this more in depth.
That'd be great, even if I join in for a bit and say hello. And because it's been I love this. This is great.
Awesome.
Show the book one more time.
Yeah, so anybody who doesn't have this book, if you are new and you don't know anything about Flat Earth, read these pages. And
if you know somebody,
give them this book. It's written as a novel, but it tells you, literally, I'm not even lying. If I didn't know anything about Flat Earth, it's all in this book. All of it. I mean, Fata Morgana, the everything's in this. It covers everything. It's just
excellent.
So good, Billy.
That's a freaking good plug. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Dude, thank you.
Hey, if we ever do another free for all too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I want to come in on that. I've seen Witsit join it as well, and he's just amazing. I've just seen some of them that you guys do. And
the spaces.
And I think they're good for the globe earthers. I like that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a spaces. We're gonna do a spaces again too soon.
Yeah, we'll send you that too
if
we do it.
Yep.
That would be fantastic. Good night, gentlemen. Have a great evening, and God bless. Yeah.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
We'll
see you soon, man.
Bye-bye.
Death. Faded out. That was awesome,
Faded
dudes.
out.
I wish we would have got to talk to him more, but that was cool as hell.
Me too.
I don't know what happened to Death, but I'm sure
I know he dropped
on his
out.
technical difficulties.
Yeah, he texted me and said he was having trouble getting back on, but we'll get to it.
All right, well.
So, yeah.
Dude,
that was an awesome episode. Billy Zig is awesome. If you don't have the Elusive Curve, get it. I'll post it.
Great guy, man. I wish we would have had more time to talk with him.
I know. We'll do it again for sure. All right. Later, dudes. Peace.
Later, y'all at home. Bye-bye.